So on this week's of What's Trending, we have Taylor Sharp here to talk a little bit about his film on Hoops for Africa. So just relating it back to you, this is your alma mater and sharing your story. How was it, how did it feel when Varsity Theaters premiered your film?
It was so special to bring the film back to Chapel Hill because that's ultimately where it started. Chapel Hill really embraced this film. You know, it's a story about basketball in Africa. It's a story about the African philosophy of Ubuntu. But Chapel Hill, by supporting me, really brought the film right into this community. And I think that's really special because this African philosophy of Ubuntu ultimately comes back to community.
How specifically did you find out about Umbuntu?
So I happened to see kind of in the footnotes of this article about the 2008 Boston Celtics who won the NBA championship that they were taught about the African philosophy of Ubuntu by a South African guy from this nonprofit Hoops for Hope. I am because we are. Is what it kind of translates out to. And I just fell in love with the people who use Ubuntu as a way of life. Mm-hmm. And through this Boston Celtics connection to the world, it was a way to weave it into NBA history forever through the film.
How and when did you come up with, this is something that I want to do, I feel inspired to do this?
It all comes back to my summer spent in 2013 in Zimbabwe. I was seeing these stories unfold before my very eyes, and when I left, I really made it my mission to be able to bring those stories back. I really fell in love with the people in Zimbabwe, the kids we worked with, the work that Hoops for Hope does. And so later, as Hoops for Hope, the organization, was partnering with the NBA, and the NBA was holding its first ever Africa game, my host little brother from Zimbabwe was selected as a top prospect to compete in a skills academy there. So I just realized that all these storylines were coalescing, and I felt a calling to document them together.
So what's next for you?
Through this film, I've realized that I have a great interest in finding myself at the intersection of sports and social impact and storytelling. So I plan to seek out those stories where people are using sport for good and trying to introduce them to the world.
Are there any other thoughts you want to share before we are finished?
Well, now that people know about the film, I hope they'll go watch it. It's on iTunes and Amazon, and after watching, you'll know all about why Ubuntu matters.